Hey, I have continued to have a rough time, but some things are looking better and better. I know I forgot to mention one or two things the last time. I realized after the fact, and now I can't even remember right now what they are to mention them in this video, but I did just want to check in again anyway, just to say that the swelling in my ankles and feet is mostly gone. And for the last 3 to 4 days, I think, mostly gone. The left one did get a little more consistently down to that looking like it's either gone or mostly gone faster than the right one did. But now at least 3 days, the right one mostly looks pretty perfect as well. And I haven't been continuing to have that kind of pain of like, oh my goodness, there's so much going on down there from them at all. I'm still really struggling with my sleep. Actually, I'm struggling with my sleep more than I had been over several months or the last few years or whatever. My sleep has been really bad the last few days, and I think I have other indications that I think there are certain things that got in better balance, but the sleep is worse for some reason. One thing I heard online from someone, an idea to try for when you're being woken up in the middle of the night, and I've heard this before, that it can be from sudden cortisol injection that shouldn't be happening in the middle of the night. And it's possible I have other ways it happens over these last few years, other factors that are contributing, but I thought that surely is one of the factors of how much worse it is right now compared to most of the last couple of years. I had one really long night of sleep, and then I've had a bunch that were like, I couldn't stay asleep more than 3 hours at a time, and then I'd be awake for hours before I could go back to sleep, and all kinds of yuck where I'm just not getting enough sleep to, I know in the long run, true insanity things result from never sleeping enough, and I know that's beyond the pale of not enough sleep for me the way it's going. But anyway, because I have to try some things and I didn't know what to try. I almost bought some NyQuil yesterday. If I don't use it for, ages at a time, and then I'll take some at some point, that'll knock me out. Benadryl can knock people out. I would be just as tempted to try that, but I haven't bought either one yet. This thing I heard from some stuff I listened to recently that mentioned the cortisol injection in the middle of the night that shouldn't be suddenly such high cortisol in the middle of the night is fat fasting, which I'm not against it. I don't think it's bizarre or horrible or any of that stuff. I just never had tried it before. So anytime I'd heard of people in the carnivore community talking about fat fasting, it did kind of make sense to me, and I did think I should try it someday, and I had never had tried it. So as I understand it, most of the people who are doing it do not say that you should do this for days at a time. They just do it for like 1 day at a time. And that's fine. That makes sense to me. That might be the smart way to try it, or the smart way to ever do it. I don't know yet. So I just thought, just for today, I'm going to try that. And a lot of things are difficult for me to figure out in terms of what am I going to do, because I'm going to be gone all day for work. And I'm on the road all day for work, and then I have times in between students where I'm still just driving around to get to the next student, or at least close enough to them, and not just waste the time of like, here, I live in Polk County in Florida. It's like the biggest county ever. I can't believe how huge this county is, at least by standards of what size other Florida counties are. This county is really huge, and I drive all over it. And so sometimes I have the whole hour in between two students' lessons just driving. And of course that makes that difficult if I don't have something I've already packed to bring with me, and also with all the brain fog and other things going wrong in my life that are showing me to not be doing very well with things that I was already weak at, like organization, but also just thinking of it and just doing the thing that I thought of and just getting things done correctly. It's just crazy how bad off that I don't function well in recent years. So that makes it hard to get obviously, something that a normal person would go, oh, okay, I really have to get organized to do this, and I really have to be on top of it, and blah, blah, blah. For those of us who are cognitive functioning, and our ability to just function at all and get through a day is so hard now, then those things are like mountains to figure out how to climb over without any legs. So it's really bad, the brain functioning affecting that those things are hard to accomplish. And I have resorted to a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people wouldn't do, that mostly the things I do work okay for me and I can tolerate them. But I was trying to figure out fat fasting wise. Well, I'm not doing any dairy. Well, I'm not going to do butter. And I know some people think, oh, even if you can't do other dairy, you can do butter, but I'm not finding that to be the case for me. Well, I seem to, when I'm having trouble with dairy, butter also bothers me. So also, obviously, heavy cream, sour cream, anything like that I might have wanted to get fat out of and thought would be easy. It's all off the table. Even though I do love heavy cream when I can find it in good quality. And honestly, really good quality heavy cream that just says heavy cream on the label and doesn't have something else nasty that would bug my gut like carrageenan or Gore-Gum. Super rare. When we lived in Ohio, they had the Snowville Creamery brand up there. That was an awesome brand. I recently saw someone in a video say they can get some like that that's just got cream in it at Trader Joe's. So that would be worth trying for anyone that is within reach of a Trader Joe's. But anyway, for me, I was like, well, how am I going to do a fat fast? I can't cook beef fat in an air fryer. Even if I ran out and bought an air fryer, I can't do that on the road in between students. And I'm not going to want to cook beef fat in the air fryer and eat it cold later. I don't think that sounds like anything I would feel any better than I would about just eating the raw meat that I've been having to eat sometimes. But I mean, a lot of raw meat, a lot of raw ground beef even, which I know there's a whole contingent of people on the internet get super loud, sound like they're in the billions trying to scream at everybody who's doing it or saying it's okay, but this is what I'm doing, whether people like it or not. It has not made me any sicker. It has not given me any kind of infections. It's not like I'm a complete idiot not trying to do it in the best way possible, and at the same time, none of that's going to matter to the people who just can't handle the idea of raw meat. So if you can't, you can't, and just click away, man. But anyway, I was just going on. I have no idea what I'm going to do that I can actually stomach the idea and swallow this stuff and not be super unhappy about it, even though I'm not usually like that about many foods. And I decided it's raw egg yolks I can do. And not that they have to be raw to do it as a fat fast, but again, I'm not going to have some appliance in my car and manage to cook egg yolks in my car somehow on my way to between students. So probably later today. So far I've had 5. I tried to pull out 6 this morning. I lost one of the egg yolks in the process of separating it. Sometimes they break open and slip away from you no matter how careful you are trying to be. But I did eat 5 of them. I did not find it super pleasant, even though as a general rule I like egg yolks by themselves. But even as those got closer to room temperature, that was hard. I did not like that much. Maybe I'll get used to it later and like it better. And maybe I'll figure out some other thing then like that. I thought maybe tonight and tomorrow morning I could try cooking just past soft boiled to like jammy, some people are calling it, or slightly between soft boiled and jammy would be even better in my mind. I like soft boiled eggs. A runny egg yolk usually doesn't bother me, so this bothering me the way it did this morning was surprising to me. But it is what it is. It was really not easy to do this morning. And then I'm going to try to do it in the middle of the day in between 2 students. And I'm having horrible problems because, as I keep saying over and over, I live in exposure. I'm having horrible problems with just my sinuses and being just full of stuff. And I am so full of stuff, and I can see it in my face how bad I'm doing, getting the much bigger bags under the eyes, and I'm getting tons and tons of skin problems lately, which I've had a lot over the last couple of years, but they are particularly bad at the moment. So sometimes they're a little better, but still there. Sometimes they're a lot worse, and obviously still there. They're there, they're worse, they're there, they're better, whatever. It keeps going back and forth over these last couple of years of I live in exposure, and I try everything under the sun to figure out a way to move, and I pray a lot, and I try everything under the sun to just deal with, are there other things that'll help despite the exposure? So I can't not look for a way to help, even though I haven't figured out a way to move yet, and I have not been blessed by God yet. In whatever way, he is eventually going to take care of this probably, but right now that's not his plan so far. It's not that I was supposed to get that help from him at this point yet. So I am trying this fat fasting thing, and I'm going to try to do it with raw egg yolks today. And then maybe by tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll try something close to soft-boiled eggs. Only thing that worries me about the soft-boiled eggs is I'm not in the habit of cooking them lately. And my functioning is so poor, even though I've done them a million times years ago. Over lots of years, I did them plenty of times. I feel like I'm not going to get it right at first, and I don't want to accidentally also have some kind of little bit of runny white and mixed in, because the white part, when it's not fully cooked, is part of what's very distasteful and sort of a bad thing sensory-wise in the mouth. I don't like that. And I really, really, really hate overcooked eggs even more than I find the whites being undercooked being distasteful. So I'm pretty picky about eggs, even though the runny yolks, I love the runny yolks. So I'm like, I just got to get it just far enough into soft boiled or a little past soft boiled to make sure that the whites can just be separated. But anyway, now I've run on at length 10 minutes talking about this one little thing. That's what I'm working on today. Wanted to put it in there. Oh, and I've started to say something about it, and I ran off track of what I was thinking about that. I have all this sinus stuff going on, and I really, really, really wanted some Actifed. And I've tried a few times to stop in the mornings and just go ahead and buy some Actifed. But because you can't buy it by itself out on the shelf, or Sudafed, either one, apparently I can't get it unless I get there while the pharmacy window is open. That's where you take the weird little card that's on the shelf that says, yes, you are allowed to buy this, maybe. It seems to me very unclear. Like, theoretically, if you have to go up to the shelf, they're looking to say no to some people who are trying to buy that. But hopefully, even though I do not function well, and I think my brain's pretty weird, hopefully that doesn't come across to them like I'm trying to make meth or whatever it is that happens with those meds that I do want. So having tried a few times in the morning at the one time that was easier for me to get into a place that had a pharmacy has not worked. And this morning I went to Walmart that early thinking they're such a much bigger store and that they might have a way to do it earlier, but they did not. Their pharmacy windows were locked up tight. And actually their whole area around the pharmacy, I couldn't even tell any place that had that little card or any medicine that was super close to what I wanted. So I don't even know if Walmart even sells Actifed or Sudafed. That was kind of weird. But anyway, got a giant pack of toilet paper and a 6-pound bag of Epsom salts at Walmart this morning. And the Epsom salts are my luxury item that I can soak away some of the achiness sometimes when I can get in a hot bath with that. So I'm going to stop and turn this off and go get my student that I have at 9 a.m. My last video I looked at, because I'm so brain foggy, I didn't know how many days ago did I do that. I'm pretty sure I know correctly that I uploaded it the same day I made it, and just a few minutes later basically. And then I did both to YouTube and Rumble. And I noticed when I looked just now, Rumble says it was 8 days ago and YouTube says it was 7 days ago. So I don't know if I've messed that up in my memory. Totally possible that maybe I don't know. That would be really weird and really off track of the habit I've had of how I do this. If I uploaded it to Rumble a day earlier than I did to YouTube, I think it's more of a glitchiness of weird programming. If I uploaded to both in the morning, and this morning, this many days later, they don't agree on how many days it's been. But obviously that sounds like that's me and the fact that my brain doesn't work. Maybe I did something really different than the way I usually do. Maybe I uploaded it to Rumble first, and sometimes I do have a delay of a day or more in between uploading from one to the other, to one of the platforms and then to the other platform. Just didn't remember if I've ever done Rumble first and then YouTube later, so I'm a little confused about that part. But approximately 8 days ago, I uploaded a video about my electrolyte balance, and I kept working on it. Oh, and before I had mentioned the fact that I was, out of balance with my electrolytes. And I do think it's a little better now. And I kind of think from everything I went through trying to get it back in balance, that just a lot more sodium is what I really needed. But I did end up taking also a lot more magnesium, because I can't hardly do anything without needing extra magnesium while I do it, ever. I did get pretty quickly up to enough magnesium to not end up needing to wake up in the middle of the night from the leg cramps waking me up. So that's been good to not have any more leg cramps. But then after however many days of doing that, I ran out of all the extra older supplements I had around that I had just never finished at some point in the past when I quit taking them. So now I do not have any more benfotiamine. I don't have any more of 2 different types of magnesium I've run out of. And I think there's something else, but I'm blanking at the moment what it was that I ran out of. But so I'm not going to be taking hardly any supplements at all, because it's nearly impossible for me to take any of the supplements that might be great for me right now without also taking extra magnesium. And I definitely cannot be going out and buying magnesium on my budget in the near future right now, unless something changes pretty radically with it. So that's just one more thing that's going on that I'm sitting here documenting, going, but someday this will be documentation of the journey till I got better, which I'm not obviously not better. You can see when you look at me on the video. bags under the eyes and the skin looking horrible and all this stuff going on. But I'm trying. I'm gonna go get my student. I'm gonna pray all day in between students and everything for God keeping us safe and giving me more sleep tonight than he gave me last night. Y'all have a good day. God bless you.